Hey everyone, let's talk about Prudence by Gail Carriger. This is the first in the Custard Protocol series, another series set in the world that Gail Carriger created. So the Victorian era with steampunk elements, vampires, werewolves, ghosts, all those things. The Custard Protocol is a follow-up series to the Parasol Protectorate, so I would recommend reading that first as to not be spoiled for that series. If you don't want to read the other series, you can start here. Some of the things that happen and refer back to the other series you will understand without having read them, but I would not miss out on the fun of all the other series that came before. Looking at this book and this series, it all evolves around Prudence, who's in her early 20s and she's a meta-natural. That means she can touch other supernatural beings and take over their powers. That stays either until the next sunrise or until distance sets them apart, so she turns back to human. And she's at the center of this little group that we have in this book. We also have her best friend, Primrose, who's just a normal mortal, and her twin brother, Percy, who's a little bit annoying and a smartass, and he's very, very clever, and I don't know yet. I'm curious to see and learn more about him, but he's a fun character. I don't really know. And we also have Quesnel, which we have met in the earlier books, who is the son of Mrs. LeFou. And he's a flirty Frenchman right now, so I kind of like him a lot now. The story evolves around our little group going to India on some serious tea business for Lord Akaldama. And of course there's a lot of adventure starting there. And that's all I'm going to tell you about the story. Let's rather talk about the book, the writing and the characters. Because I really enjoyed the characters in this book a lot more than the characters in the Finishing School series. They're a little bit older, which is more to my liking at the moment. And we do have Rue, or Prudence, and Quesnel flirting a lot, and I really enjoyed that. The atmosphere and the banter between them is hilarious. We also have Primrose, who's really the perfect young woman, and she is so clever and witty. I really enjoyed whenever she took over control of the actions. And Percy, as I said before, is not really clear to me yet, because he's sort of the confused professor, but at the same time he's rather sexy and ladylike apparently, so I'm not really sure where that is going. And we do have those four characters interacting in a very interesting way. They all grew up together, so they've known each other for a very long time and basically all their life. And there are like some kind of friendships and annoyances between them. But they do work perfectly well together as a team, and I really enjoyed reading that. When it comes to the story, I would not expect any real adventurous story, because there's a long time nothing much happening. We do have a lot of description of area, we do have a lot about the fashion, and we have a lot about tea. And I do enjoy this slow storytelling by Gail Carriger, because she does it in such intelligent and witty way that it's not boring. But it's not a lot of action in the book in the first 2/3 of the book, I would say. A lot more happens in the last third, but it's not like you're bored by the book. I know it took a long time to read it, but it wasn't due to the book not being well written and not interesting. I really liked it, but it's not an action-packed book, you should know that. One thing that disappointed me, but that has nothing to do with the writing or the story, is the bad editing. I don't know if that is just because I have like the first edition of a paperback or whatever, or if I just imagine a lot of the things, but I had the feeling that were a lot of typos and words misspelled, and I thought that was very sad, because the book deserves better. And if I hadn't read Gail Carriger before, this would have annoyed me a lot more and maybe turned me off of the series. So let me know if you have experienced the same thing, that you felt there were an unproportionate amount of spelling mistakes in this book. That's about all the raving I have for this book. I recommend you get into the world of Gail Carriger, because she is so much fun to read. It's light, it's fun, and the world is just amazing. And of course I want to hear your thoughts. If you have read anything by Gail Carriger yet that you have liked, or if you want to get started on her. And thank you for watching, and let's talk about Gail Carriger in the comments. Bye bye!